Hello, everyone. I would like to jump on here and share with you an exercise that has literally changed my life. And that exercise is very easy. It involves going out into the world for maybe about a week, maybe longer, maybe a month, and observing everything that is going on. What are people doing? How are they living their lives? What do they look like? What are they buying? What are they driving? Are they smiling? Are they, happy? Do they have kids? Are they in relationships? Do they have a dog? Do they have a job? Are they going to work? Are they going to school? And just understand that this observation, this power of observation about the world will literally transform your mind. And you have to sit there and you have to watch. It's not about doing what you need to do. It's more about watching what other people are doing in their lives because a lot of people are literally following a script, following a program, running on autopilot, doing exactly what everyone else is doing day in, day out, year after year, decade after decade, die. And I want you to observe the world. Literally, are they smoking cigarettes? Do they look high? Are they sober? Are they drinking? You can go anywhere and do this. You can go to a park. What do people like? What are people like in parks? They're a lot more calm. They're a lot more centered, grounded, happier, you know, peaceful. Maybe they're playing, maybe they're exercising, maybe they're chilling, maybe they're reading, maybe they're walking, maybe they're running. And then I want you to go out into the man-made world and observe people because literally everything that you notice about people is data, is information. And this information you need to take and you need to apply it to your life. But first, write about everything that you've learned about people. What is their energy like? Is it chaotic? Is it grounded? Um, how do they act? Do they smile? You can stop people on the street, you can talk to them. This depends on where you are, obviously, but in the Western world, it's fast paced, depending where you are, what cities, if you're in a rural area or not. And it is data to help you decide what you want to do with your life, because this is not always what everyone wants. Everyone does not always want the same thing. You have to remember that. A lot of people do want the same thing, and you have to understand why. Like, why do people want the same thing, drive the same new cars, build the same nice houses, live in subdivisions, live in nice cities, go to schools, go to, the same shows, hike at the same places every day, live in the same states, live in the same countries, do the same things. People congregate in places. And I feel that when we do this, it's the most powerful exercise to understand the world and understand where you belong in the world and what you want out of your life. Because the things that you want are going to come from learning these and observing these people and these places and this energy that is literally our world, right? This is our world. Like, we have somehow shown up here on this planet, spinning ball of mass of energy with all these beautiful things and places and resources and energy and sun and abundance and plants and animals and all this. And if we don't understand the world, we're going to be confused. We're going to be lost. We're going to be, you know, probably fitting in, conforming more or less, just like our parents have conformed. We went to school because our parents went to school. Yes, I didn't go to Catholic school. Like my mom went to Catholic school because she abandoned the Catholic church because it wasn't for her. It wasn't a good church. The nuns would whip her desk and whip her and, tell him that little girls should only be seen and not heard and all this other nonsense, right? Like it's all about authority. Like who's listening to who? Who's following whose orders in this world? Like literally, who are we following? Who are we listening? And if you don't get outside that program, you know, that that dimension, that autopilot that people are in, you will never, ever, ever be able to break free and decide what you want, what you just want to do in your life, bring to the world, bring value, create. And that's the main thing for humans to understand. Like we don't have to do everything that everyone else is doing. It actually leads to unhappiness. It really does. I don't see a lot of people like, as I look around, I do not see a lot of people with free time. I do not see a lot of people being able to travel the world. I do not see a lot of my friends, my environment, joyful. They don't call out of the blue. Are they extremely aware? Not many. Very, very, very small fraction of the people that I know in this world are extremely aware of themselves, their energy, their emotion. And it's kind of sad to say, there's a lot of movies about this, obviously The Matrix, but it lies in the power of observation. When I go to places, for example, I go there and I watch people. And for example, I don't know, I sit in a park in, let's say, Bosnia or Kosovo or any other place in the world, Medellin, Colombia. And I just watch people, some people are smoking cigarettes, some people are playing chess, some people are smoking weed. Most people are on their phones. And it's like the same thing, and I just, and there's people driving by and people walking by, going here, going there, shopping and, living their lives. And that's nice and all. It really is. It's really nice to have a nice life, but I'm just curious, like, why did these people decide to do these things? Like, you have to ask yourself this, like, why do people decide to do the things that they do? Why? The school system? Are we all just products of the system? And who's behind the system? Like who's telling us we should go to school and learn to get a job so we can go enter the workforce and pay taxes and support the government for their war machine or whatever it is. And I look around and I see the roads turning to shit, and I see unhappy people, overweight people, going to the doctor, taking the pills, getting overcharged, uh, eating the same food, going to the same restaurants, the fast food system, drinking the same poisoned air. You walk into a big ass city in California and it's the same thing, poison air, poison people, poison land. And it's just heart-wrenching. It's just very eye-opening, and at the same time, it's very, very freeing. It frees your mind. I've lived in the woods for 38 years, you know, 2 miles down a dirt road, no matter what. Grew up out in the sticks, running around, playing, running around, making trails, making tree houses, driving motorcycles, bikes, hiking, exploring, running through the land, creating what else, little, tracks and as many little things as we could do as kids, have fun and living off the land and chopping firewood and bringing firewood in and, farming and doing our own gardens and learning and self-sustaining, you could say. My mom left the city to have us as kids. And these days, when I enter these man-made concrete jungles, I am literally blown away by the programming, the literal, you know, just, I would say naivete of the world, and everyone's, thinking this and trying to fit in here and trying to like have friends. And, you know, I get it. Like we all want to be part of something, but I don't see people living in alignment with their true selves, themselves as a human, being connected with nature and the world and all this. All they're doing is fighting to make money, getting burned like I did many, many, many times. People are taking from one another. People are fighting with one another. People are causing destruction on one another. And it's literally absurd. It is upside down. Like the man-made world is destructive, and it starts with the individual being programmed for years upon years upon years in indoctrination systems like I was, and just to do that's going to benefit you, right? They tell you that, but it's not true. It benefits them just as much. You work till you're 60 and then you collect Social Security, which is all your money back because they used it for war and they invested in bought bonds and so on and so forth. It's absurd. It is literally the worst outcome for humanity. And I don't want you to do that. That's why I want you to go out into the world and understand that the world does not have your best interest at heart. You need your best interest at heart. And what is that going to take? That's up to you. And this is going to set you on the right path to get you out of that mindset that you've been indoctrinated your whole entire life. You have to buy a home. You have to get a car. All that stuff is breaking down. You have to have kids. You have to send them to school. You have to send them to college. It's breaking down. It is broken. The system is destroyed. It is literally destroyed. I don't see one system in the world that is working. I've been to Norway, I've been to Sweden, and I've been to Denmark, which everyone says is a healthy social system. You know what? All those people walk around staring at the phone. They're all introverted. I walked up to people and I started, hey, how are you doing? And they're like, they didn't know what to do. They couldn't look me in the eyes on the street in Oslo, in the capital of Norway. And in Copenhagen, they're smoking joints on the street. Fine, do it. Do whatever you want. Lighting off fireworks on New Year's till 5 a.m. and so on. And, those people, those societies might have a few things right, but they don't have everything right. I went to Sweden, which is supposedly a very socialist, prosperous country. You know what? I got on the bus, and they don't plow the streets in Sweden, right? And it was snowing. So it was about this much snow on the ground, the whole ground, and even the sidewalks. You have to trudge through the snow. And the bus stopped at a stoplight and started to go, but it was spinning out. And I look over, I'm like, what's going on here? At some guy, and he's like, yeah, they don't grade the streets to save on taxes and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so how are we going to get the hell out of here? And he's like, I don't know. These buses aren't even made for cold weather. They're made for Mediterranean places where it's always dry. And I'm just like, what is going on out here? Like, this is the social system that's so strong and so prosperous. It's absurd. I'm not going to talk down on people and belittle people, but humanity has not used its brain, this mind. And I want you to cultivate a sense of intelligence, common sense. And that comes from observation, observing the world, looking around, looking how nature works, looking how abundant we have the world, yet how, poisoned we've created it. Yes, there's billions of people, but those billions of people have been doing this same thing, following autopilot for generations upon generations upon generations. We sow the land. Someone comes up with an idea that it's cheaper to use a product that causes cancer, and then we start using that, and we end up dead, and we end up killing ourselves. That's the epitome of man's destruction. It's self-destruction at its finest. And I don't want you to do that. So this is what you need to do. You need to observe the world. You need to get away from the programming, the influences. I'm not an influencer. I'm not influencing you to do anything. I'm saying that this, and I'm telling you, this is what has created this up here for me. I'm not the most smartest person on the planet, you know, but I know a little bit about what's going on in this world and how people, you know, respond and act in their emotions and their energy, because I've done all the work. I've done so much work on myself. You know, I've done more work than 99% of the work people are willing to do on themselves in this world. And I'm not bragging, I'm stating it. That's the fact. And I sit here on a mountain in the middle of nowhere telling you guys that this is what is the most important thing for your life. Stop doing what other people tell you what to do. And this is an oxymoron as well, but stop telling you what society, stop listening to society. Stop listening to your family. Stop listening to your religion. Stop listening to your schools and your government. All of it is broken. There is no prosperity and there is no abundance in listening to these systems. These systems are meant for you to remain a slave. And we don't want to be slaves. We want to be happy. And I want you guys to be happy. And that's the moral of the story on this planet. You know, maybe I could go on forever doing these videos, and who knows, maybe I'll find happiness and maybe I'll change some lives. And that's the point of this. I want you guys to understand, like, these man-made concrete jungles are not meant for our happiness. Can you jump in, you know, creeks and springs? Are you drinking spring water in those stores that aren't shipped in plastic? You know, how do you get your water? How do you get your food? Are you growing your food? You know, toxified soil. Where's the water coming from? Most of the water in these cities, running near these cities, these aquifers are pretty polluted. Guarantee that. You know, are you able to jump in a river every day and replenish your positively, you know, charged ions that we need to be attracting the negative ions of the earth? Are you grounding every day? These little things. You know, are you thinking? Are you Are you understanding the world? Are you connecting with the universe? Are you out here in nature? Are you listening to birds? Are you, you know, getting sun on you, getting fresh air, sowing the soil, tilling the soil, whatever it is? I've been a farmer since I was a little kid, and I understand these things. So my main message is for you to just go and observe the world and don't listen to anything but nature, and listen to yourself, and, you know, get out of these jungles, because I guarantee once you start watching these people, you're going to come up with some realizations. No one's really that happy. They're following a certain script. They're poisoning themselves. You know, people might enter into these certain types of, you know, I would say conform, like molds of society, the human mold. You have to break that. You have to get out of these molds. Go explore. Go talk to people. You know, rejuvenate your spirit, whatever that involves. You know, talk to people. Why do they do these things? Are they happy? What have you learned in life? Older people especially. The younger people, they always need some guidance or some, you know, words of advice and wisdom and stuff, and be there for them. You know, like, what I've learned is people, these young people really lost, they're really confused, they're just following what their parents want them to do, just like I did. And, you know, I have parents, but I think they have health issues, at least one, and one probably has mental issues, you know, and they take things personal, and it's all about their ego, and there's a lot of narcissism and shit like that. And it's just like, you know what? It's not healthy. People aren't happy. This world, like 85% of the world isn't even happy anymore. Like, what is wrong? There's something broken about society. Do you think they want us happy? You got to ask yourself that. Well, happiness leads to less consumption. It leads to, spiritual abundance. It leads to more peace instead of war and hating and, suffering and anger and destruction and violence. And, you know, I think the answer is that we need to like search for peace, find things that bring us peace. Cities are not peaceful. You might go to a park and it's peaceful for a little while, then you go back to the grind. Who says you need to fucking spend 5 million or $500,000 on a car? Who says that? Who? Your ego? Someone else? There's a lot of people out here telling you to do these things. Why do you care what they think? In the East, like I just went to Bosnia and, it's a war-torn country. People don't care about your opinion. Your opinion means dirt. Why would they care? They got their own problems. They got their own mind to straighten out and worry about. I see a lot of people smoking cigarettes out there, and I think it's one of the most destructive habits in the world. But who told you to? Your society, your friends, your family, your groups, advertisements, the tobacco companies, all these companies want you literally in the system. They want you a product. They want you sick. They want you fat. They want you tired. They're not going to tell you the things that make you fucking amazing, feeling amazing and happy about life. You know what I mean? Like, I just had to learn about hydrogen, like breathing hydrogen into our bodies. I've literally never heard about that. I had to learn about Ayurveda this year. I've literally never heard about the depth and the foundational, benefits and transformation that it provides for people. There's so many things I'm learning still at this age. And it's so mind-blowing, like how much stuff there is for people to understand that we'll never have access to, that we'll never be able to dig into. And there's a world of information out there. You have to go search for it. And it starts here, and it starts here. And it starts with these hands. These hands have created so much in these times. All of us. Not bragging, I'm just saying, like, we've done so much work, and this has done so much work. This is your most powerful asset in this world. Your heart, your mind, and your fucking spirit. Don't squander these things. People need to understand that it's just so imperative. It is so significant to understand. It's so mind-blowing. It's so revealing. It's like a revelation. I feel so good having to know the things I know this day and age. If I knew what I know now back in 20 years ago, my God, I would be so much more happy. I would be so much more successful. I'd be 1,000 times, probably rich, successful, and happier. You know what I mean? It's what it takes for people to understand. You've got to break out of the molds. You have to think free. It's this mind. It's this. They want it enslaved. Do not let them get it. And that's my message. I hope you're all well. Please like, comment, and let me know what you think about this, because this is one of the most powerful things that will change your life. Cheers. I'll catch you on the next one.